In the heart of Pakistan, a nation torn apart by political chaos and extremism, one woman dared to stand tall against the odds. Her name was Benazir Bhutto, a leader whose courage and vision made her the first woman to govern a Muslim-majority country. Her life was a roller coaster of triumph and tragedy, a tale that ended in a shocking act of violence that left the world reeling. This is the story of Benazir Bhutto, her incredible rise, her fateful final moments, and the unrest that gripped Pakistan in the wake of her death. Benazir Bhutto was born in 1953 into a family already steeped in power and pain. Her father, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, was Pakistan's charismatic prime minister, a man loved by the masses but feared by his enemies. Her mother, Nusrat Bhutto, was a fierce political figure in her own right. Growing up, Benazir saw politics up close. Dinner table talks of democracy, justice, and the future of Pakistan. But her world shattered in 1979 when her father was executed by a military regime after a trial many called unfair. That moment lit a fire in young Benazir. She was just 26, but she vowed to carry on his dream. She wasn't just any politician's daughter, she was brilliant. Benazir studied at Harvard and Oxford, soaking up knowledge and ideas from the world's best minds. When she returned to Pakistan, she was ready to step into the spotlight. She took over her father's Pakistan People's Party, or PPP, and quickly became a star. With her striking looks, sharp mind, and a voice that could move mountains, she connected with the poor, the rural farmers, the forgotten. In 1988, at only 35, she made history, elected Prime Minister, the first woman to lead a Muslim nation. Imagine that. In a country where women were often told to stay quiet, she broke every rule and rose to the top. But power came with a price. Her first term ended in 1990 when her government was kicked out over claims of corruption and mismanagement. She didn't give up. In 1993, she stormed back into office, proving her strength and popularity. Yet 3 years later, she was ousted again, facing the same accusations. Some called her a hero. Others said she was power-hungry. Whatever the truth, Benazir had a magic about her, a charm that kept people believing in her, especially the women who saw her as proof they could dream big. Life wasn't just politics for Benazir. In 1987, she married Asif Ali Zardari in an arranged match, a common tradition in Pakistan. But their bond grew strong. They had 3 kids, and somehow she balanced raising them with her wild political life. She loved books too. People say she'd escape into novels to unwind from the stress. And stress there was plenty of. In 1996, her brother Murtaza Bhutto, another political player, was killed in a police shootout, another family tragedy, another scar on her heart. By 1999, things got too hot. Facing corruption charges she called unfair, Benazir left Pakistan for Dubai. She lived there in exile, watching her country from afar. Pakistan was falling apart. General Pervez Musharraf had grabbed power in a 1999 coup, ruling with an iron fist. The war in nearby Afghanistan after September 11th spilled over, bringing the Taliban and terror groups into Pakistan. Bombs went off in cities and unrest spread like wildfire. Benazir's old rival, Nawaz Sharif, another big-name politician, was also out of the game, exiled like her. But she wasn't done yet. In 2007, after 8 years away, Benazir saw her chance. She made a deal with Musharraf. He dropped the charges if she played nice. On October 18th, she flew back to Pakistan, landing in Karachi to a crowd of hundreds of thousands cheering her name. It was a homecoming fit for a queen. But that same night, danger struck. A suicide bomber hit her convoy, killing over 100 of her supporters. Blood stained the streets, but Benazir walked away unharmed. "I'm here to save Pakistan," she said, brushing off the attack. Her bravery was unreal. She kept going, campaigning for elections set for early 2008. She knew the risks. Death threats came daily. Extremists hated her for being a woman in power and a moderate voice against their violence. Even some in the military weren't thrilled she was back. But Benazir pressed on, driven by a belief that democracy was worth dying for. Then came December 27th, 2007. It was a chilly day in Rawalpindi, a city tied to Pakistan's military past. Benazir spoke at a rally in Liaquat Bagh, a park named after the country's first Prime Minister. Thousands packed in to hear her, waving flags and shouting her name. Her speech was electric, promises of jobs, freedom, and an end to Musharraf's rule. When she finished, the crowd roared. She climbed into her white SUV, smiling and waving through the sunroof as it rolled through the sea of people. In an instant, everything changed. A gunman fired shots. Witnesses say they saw him aim right at her. Then a suicide bomber blew himself up next to her car. The explosion ripped through the air, a deafening boom that turned celebration into horror. Smoke and screams filled the scene as bodies fell. Inside the wrecked vehicle, Benazir was hit, some say by bullets, others by the blast. She was raised to the hospital, but at 6:16 p.m. the doctors gave the news. Benazir Bhutto was dead. Pakistan broke. Her fans flooded the streets, crying, yelling, setting fires. Riots tore through cities. Cars burned. Shops were smashed. It was grief mixed with fury. Who did this? The government pointed at Baitullah Mehsud, a Taliban boss, but many didn't buy it. Benazir had warned before she died that powerful people in the military or intelligence might want her gone. The investigation was a mess. Cops washed the crime scene clean within hours, wiping out clues. A UN report later slammed Pakistan's leaders for not protecting her and for hiding the truth. Conspiracy theories swirled. Was it the army? The extremists? Musharraf himself? No one knew for sure. The elections got pushed back. But when they happened, Benazir's party won big. Her husband, Asif Ali Zardari, took over as president, carrying her torch. The world mourned too. Leaders from the US to India sent condolences, calling her a warrior for peace. She'd spoken at the UN, met presidents and queens, and stood as a rare moderate voice from the Muslim world. Now that voice was silent. Benazir Bhutto's death wasn't just a murder, it was a wound to Pakistan's soul. She'd said, democracy is the best revenge. First, after her father's killing, and now, in a way, after her own. She fought for a Pakistan where people could vote, where women could lead, where hope could live. Her assassination showed how fragile that dream was, but her spirit didn't die. Today, she's a legend, a woman who defied all, whose life and loss still echo in Pakistan and beyond.